again, thank you all for being here today. I'm Bill McCoy, and this is my coworker, Karen Fabrizio. We are part of a program called SHARES, Surviving Homicide's Aftermath, Resources, Education, and Support. And we've been privileged to meet with survivors of homicide victims for many years now, and it is a privilege. I know people who speak in public throw that word around, but it is indeed a privilege and a blessing for us both. I think you all probably know when you give something, you get so much back in return, and that's certainly been true for us. We cover a lot of territory, Plymouth and Bristol counties. Sometimes people mistake us for staff at the district attorney's office, but we are not staff at the district attorney's office. We work collaboratively with the district attorney's offices, both in Plymouth and in Bristol County. And it's our privilege to meet with survivors, to accompany them to court, and we run a group every other Thursday night. And you're going to hear more about that group, many of whom are here today, and are a rather remarkable group of individuals. If I start recognizing guests, I'm going to leave somebody out, so I'm going to skip over that part, and I apologize to anybody who might be offended for that. To my way of thinking, nobody's more important than anybody else, but I hope that's cool with you, Mr. Mayor. And District Attorney. Do we want to say a little bit about the background, how we got here?
We do.
Do you want to do that?
Welcome, everybody, and thank you for being here. So a couple of years ago, I went to a providers meeting, which we meet with Lewis Brown Peace Institute in Boston and several other community people that work in the homicide healthcare. So they had offered a grant to families and survivors so that we could, so families could maybe do a bench or donate to football players if that's what their son or daughter was in, or education. They were going to do scholarships. So when I brought it back to the group, we sat there as a group and decided that we wanted to do something for the whole community. We have the Peace Garden in Boston, and unfortunately, as beautiful as it is, we can't always get up there. So we wanted to do something in the town that we all love. So what we decided to do is a bench, and the group wrote the grant. It's nothing to do with Bill and I. We just kind of guided through them. And this is what we came up with. So 2 years ago, we met with Mayor Carpenter, God bless his soul, and Tim Carpenter, the supervisor of the rec department, and they had a bench that we could actually use and we could actually put here. So what we did is we had the groups get together, we painted at one of our group nights, and then we had the pandemic. So it sat there for a year and a half, maybe many months. And but we have a beautiful product here today that we're going to celebrate, and it's for people to come here collaboratively, for vigils, for just some peace for yourself, and a place where victims of homicide and survivors can come and just have a little place of their own with a little integrity, a little silence, and a little peace.
Thank you, Karen.
Thank you.
This statement is a poem by Kathy Galloway. Kathy Galloway is a minister in the Church of Scotland and a member of the Iona community. When we do things like this, I think it's important for us to recognize that we're connected with not just each other here at this moment, but with people around the world. The Iona community is an ancient place in the Hebrides, the Inner Hebrides off the coast of Scotland, and it's a place dedicated to justice work and peacemaking. So Kathy Galloway has been very much a part of that. She's a member of the Iona community. I share with you her words. You were here, and now you are not. There is nothing to compare with the pain of death. You were here, and now you are not. That's all. I searched for you in old photographs, letters, things you touched, things that remind me of you, but they cannot fill the space you occupied. The space is in me, too, bleeding round the edges where you were torn away. In the night, strange shapes haunt the space, regret, fear, fury. All the things we might have done, all the shattered dreams. How can I go on with this hole inside me? Partial person. Don't let me fill the space with the wrong things. Don't let me cover it up to eat me from within. Give me courage to bear my emptiness, to hold it gently till the edges stop bleeding, till the darkness becomes friendly, till I see the star at its heart, till it becomes a fertile place, growing new life within it. If I had not loved, I would not have wept. This love you have given me, this love I have carried, this love has carried me. And I know that though I cannot see you, touch you, the love does not go away. Carried by this love, we are not divided, and there will be no more weeping. Kathy Galloway. Her verse ends on a positive and a hopeful note, which is what, in part, we want to do here with this opportunity and opportunities to come, is provide hope and healing when there's so much pain and so much grief in our community and in the region. Karen's going to introduce our first speaker.
Shannon Tangolini.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you for coming out today. I'm really overwhelmed with the amount of people here, and I'm very appreciative. Thank you, Mayor Sullivan, for giving us the opportunity to share this Memorial Day here that we have waited for 2 years to present. However, I've had everything memorized, but I'm very emotional right now, and I can't remember a single thing, so excuse me while I have to read my notes. We are all here to honor loved ones taken away from us so tragically. I am a part of a homicide support group hosted by Karen and Bill, who have been my rock for these past few years, and I love you both very much. I'm also a part of this amazing group of individuals. I wish you guys were all up here with me from this group, but I love you guys too. A couple years ago, it was suggested to me that I should apply for this grant on behalf of our group from the Louis D. Brown Peace Institute. The Louis D. Brown Peace Institute provides guidance, healing, support to those who have been affected by homicide. They were there for me during the most difficult time of my life, when my son Richard Matthew, as we call Matt, was fatally shot on October 5th, 2015. Danielle Bennett from the Louis D. Brown Peace Institute, which is right there, reached out to me pretty much the next day and prepared me for funeral preparations, programs, created these pins that I'm wearing of my son, and she sent me motivational quotes to cope. It was her that helped me get the strength to get up each day and gain strength for my family and for myself. The work that Danielle and Tina Sherry and all the employees at the Peace Institute have helped me and so many other survivors of homicide. I really wouldn't know what I've done without them. I was happy to be the recipient of this group on behalf of this grant, on behalf of this group. As survivors, we wanted to provide a memorial site to honor our loved ones. The bench here, I'm hoping, will provide a special meeting place for families and others who have experienced similar types of trauma. I think it's important to have our loved ones' lives recognized. I want people to walk by and read this plaque that's positioned here, Bench of Reflection. Memory of loved ones, victims of homicide, whose lives we honor here. They are forever dear to us. I want people to take a minute to think about these lives that were taken. My son Matt, his life meant something. All of these lives meant something. They were parts of our family, they were friends, and their lives mattered. It's also important for everyone to know that we are survivors and we all stand here together. Thank you.
Thank you, Shannon. Now I'd like to introduce District Attorney Timothy Cruz.
Thanks so much for having me here today. It's a very somber day, but it's something that everybody's worked really hard for and is really worthwhile to have this memorial here for the people whose lives were taken. And that's something that I think that we all never forget, that we in the DA's office continue to work hard to make sure we can do what we can to, through our advocates, and I see a lot of our victim voice advocates are here today, the challenging job that they face in trying to explain to people who have lost a loved one, especially somebody so suddenly where you never saw it coming. It wasn't an illness, it was something taken away from you. And, you know, we continue to work hard here with all our different agencies, and, you know, I see our representatives here, and fire chief and police chief, and all the different entities that are working together to try to make sure that we can keep peace here in the city of Brockton. And by working together, we've been able to make sure that we can drive down violent crime here in the city of Brockton. Our numbers show that over the course of the last 10 years. Our numbers show that homicides are down, things are all down. But like I said the other day during the peace walk we did on Sunday with Sharon Baker, and Sharon's sitting right there, you know, one homicide's too many. And how can we make sure that we stop the next one? So we need to continue to work together and work with our youngsters, making sure that they're all going down the right path, and making sure we can continue to do our job to remember the people who we've lost. And that's what this is today. It's a very somber day, but it's a great memorial. And I'm glad that when I go around my walks now, I'll be able to see the bench, and it reminds me of just a little bit about, you know, the cases that we have, the people that we deal with, the challenges that we face, and the work that we have to do to bring peace to everybody. Peace is attainable. It's obtainable by groups like this that are working hard together. And I want to thank Karen and Bill, who work with our advocates in the courts here in Plymouth and in Bristol. And we'll make sure that we continue to do that to bring peace to everyone. So thank you so much for having me here today. I appreciate it.
Karen mentioned earlier that former Mayor Bill Carpenter was instrumental in giving his blessing for this project, but also we are delighted that Mayor Sullivan has been very much a part of advocating for this too. And we have a great leader in our city, and I, for one, am delighted that he is our mayor, and I would ask him to come forward at this time to say a few words. Mayor Sullivan.
Good afternoon, everybody. I want to first of all welcome you all to the City of Champions. I want to thank Bill and Karen. I want to thank DA Cruz and State Rep Cassidy, and again the fire chief and police chief that are here. But I want to just thank each and every one of you. You are here today, and it means so much to all of us as Brocktonians. If you're not a Brocktonian, you are today. This bench will never go away. It will be here for all time, and it's a reflection. It's an ability to come here and remember about those that you love that were taken, and taken, quite honestly, in a way that nobody should have to deal with. I do want to just say right now that I as mayor, and I as dad of 3 kids, I've never felt the pain that some of you have felt, but I recognize, and I get prayers every single day from Sharon Baker. She sends me a text every morning with a prayer, and I just want to say that we must always remember what happened, and always reflect on how we need to make change here in the City of Champions and in the Commonwealth and in the nation. We need to cut down on homicides. We just need to do that. We need to be able to embrace and love. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you for not giving up on this bench. When Mayor Carpenter passed, it easily could have been pushed away, but it wasn't, because all of you know how important this is. And I just want to say thank you for what you do. And please know that as long as I'm mayor, you will always have a friend in me here at City Hall. So if you need anything at all, please do not hesitate. And again, I just want to say God bless each and every one of you. Thank you so much.
I want to acknowledge my own chief, Chief Williams, who's here from the Brockton Fire Department. I'm the chaplain of the Brockton Fire Department and plan to continue to do that. But we also have here Chief Manuel Gomes, who we've asked to say a few words. Chief, if you would come forward, please.
Good afternoon. I too would like to echo the words of the mayor. These are terrible tragedies. I've seen it in my 35 years as a police officer. Every one of these incidents have touched me and have changed me. And I just wanted to be here today and support you, tell you that my heart is with you always. Thank you.
Thank you.
I would like to introduce Danielle Bennett from the Lewis D. Brown Peace Institute.
All right, these things never get easy, and thank you, Shannon, for making me cry before I even got up here. It's a good thing I have my sunglasses. Today is a day that seems like it took much longer than it should have, and here we stand. Thank you for inviting me to be here with you. I remember the first time Bill, Karen, and Shannon told me what they were going to ask, and I felt this feeling of bittersweet joy. Bitter as trauma, grief, and loss is the reason. Sweet for the beautiful memories and acknowledging the many lives of loved ones, and joy as it is the purest feeling that shows the amount of courage that it takes survivors to ask for what they need. When the world would just rather us give up, stay depressed and sad due to our loss. Starting as an advocate, providing support to homicide victims in Dorchester just 3 years after my cousin Sharice was murdered, I would have never guessed one of my first families I would be called to serve would be in my own community of where my husband and I chose to raise our family over 16 years ago, a family of one of his Pop Warner football players. He coached at the time. I don't know if y'all know this, but your family got in my work. It made me who I am today. This was my first interaction with the Shares program, and just knowing, hearing, and learning from Bill and Karen made me a much better provider. Understanding how to provide families, support them, as you can imagine, you never know when or if you can ever meet their needs, because the one thing they want, we are unable to give. As a survivor, I know that firsthand, and I still question myself till this day. Now, as a program coordinator for the Louis D. Brown Peace Institute, I have the honor of bearing witness to so many beautiful events, memorials, and workshops held by families to support one another. These are the ways I know what we do actually works. Being in a position to be able to offer many grants for survivors of homicide victims, suicide, and overdose is one of the most rewarding feelings. You think I'm offering you a gift, it's really the other way around. I have front row seats to hear the thoughts and wishes of mothers, fathers, siblings, spouses, cousins, and friends who want to pick up the shattered pieces and build something so grand, no matter how big or not so big, as I will never say the word small, because anyone moving through their pain is big. And today we are here to celebrate this huge step to honor and remember loved ones we have lost to homicide here in the city of Brockton. Families should not have to leave their cities or towns to receive services, and thanks to our partnership with Shares, that will most certainly come true very soon. And they most certainly shouldn't have to leave their home to visit a place that's not a cemetery, to see the world recognize a life that was taken. Someone's son was murdered, someone's sister's no longer here, someone's mother, father, cousin, friend, classmate, co-worker, or teammate is no longer walking this earth. Just one homicide, there are at least 10 survivors left standing. And our city has built this place for our families. We will forever have an open, serenity place to sit, be still, and remember. This is bigger than this beautiful bench. I pray every time someone walks by it, takes a seat at lunchtime, wipes off pigeon poop, or even takes a quick nap, they feel the blood, sweat, and tears that form this monument, filled with the heartbeats that will forever live within us. So thank you, and congratulations to the Shares program and Survivor Network team that put this together. Your advocacy is not unnoticed. Thank you to the mayor's office for helping them move this forward. I honor you all today. Thank you for letting me be here.
Thanks, Danielle. We didn't overlook Sandra Blatchford. I'm going to let Karen introduce Sandra.
Sandra is the Director and Supervisor of Social Resource and Advocacy Center, and she's our supervisor, and we welcome her.
Thank you, everybody, for being here today. When Bill and Karen asked if I would say something, honestly, I was at a loss for words. And what I want to say is that watching Karen and Bill over the last 7 years has been an amazing experience for me. I have learned more from them than they will ever know. Their love, their gift of giving, and their offering of humanity when the world has when every person they've worked with has seen the worst of humanity. That the grace I have learned from each and every one of you and that they've shared with me, I have no words for that. So I thank everyone for being here, and I wanted and ask if we could take a moment of silence, that as I stand here today, this morning when I turned on the news, we had a domestic violence homicide, and one of the programs that Social Resource and Advocacy Center has is a domestic violence program. And oftentimes I have seen Karen provide her work for members who have lost someone due to domestic violence. And when I turned on the news today, I was really reminded that it is a day that we want to maybe take a moment of silence and really honor those who we have lost and celebrate those who have survived and celebrate you. Thanks.
Thank you. I just want to thank everybody again as I sit here and watch all of your faces. I just want to let you know how privileged I am to be standing here and to be working with all of you in one way or another, in one capacity. I also just want to take a quick moment to thank Mike and Lisa Garner and Legacy 24, because they have taken this bench and driven it back and forth to wherever we needed it. And I just want to acknowledge that too. Thank you.
I've heard the name before, and it's come up even today. One Sharon Baker, who not only reaches out to the mayor with prayer every day, she reaches out to me from time to time, sets me straight. I think she's forgiven me for not being part of the Father's Day walk a couple of days ago. I was with my son out in Western Massachusetts. She really wanted me to be here, but I think she's forgiven me, and we're delighted that she's a part of what we do here together as a collaboration for survivors of homicide victims. So, Sharon, please.
So, good afternoon, everybody. First, I want to ask everyone to stand, and let's just take a moment to reflect on the loss of our loved ones. Thank you. This is a celebration because we have achieved what we've been asking for. So as we celebrate the loss of our loved ones on today, with emotions, with memories, with me feeling how it would be with my son standing, or in the city of Brockton, or even your children that we've lost to gun violence. We don't want the guns, guys. Brockton, when this first started about, and Miss Karen and Mr. Bill called me, I said, let's do it, I'm in. We need something here. Mr. Cassidy and I and Claire Cronin are working on a peace garden, so we don't no longer have to go to Boston. When this first started, as Bill said, Bill Carpenter was in the seat, and I went into him and I shared with him what we wanted to do, and he said he was all in. Shortly after that, he went on with the Lord. Mr. Sullivan, my right hand, my prayer warrior, we pray down Brockton. The DA's office, we pray down Brockton. And I'm here to tell you today that it's working, right? How do we know? Look at your stats. Look at your numbers. Look at the gathering here today. I feel safe today in Brockton. 2012, I didn't feel safe walking the streets of Brockton. I want to say thank you to Sergeant, the police, everybody that plays a part of the city of Brockton. Brockton, we are better together. We had one homicide this year, one, and that's too many. But guess what? Next year we'll have 0. And together we are better. I love you all. Stay safe and reach out. We're open. The Brockton, we're open. Love you all.
Thank you, Sharon. Thank you so much. As Danielle said, there are at least 10, more like 100 people who are affected by each homicide, whether it be from gun violence, stabbing, vehicular homicide. The list goes on, and the people affected are beyond measure. So this is very important what we're doing today, and just want to say the plaque that's here is going to be put in a stone, which will be put somewhere near the bench. So that is yet to take place, but it won't be too long before that in fact does take place. We're going to wind down here with a dedication, and so I want Karen to speak how we're going to do that together.
So we all know Brockton colors are red and black, right? And colors of homicide are red and black. So it kind of all goes together. But it's also time to stop the violence, and hopefully we can do that. But what we're going to do with the dedication is I have candles up here, and if you would like to come up, light the candle and put it on the bench. They're battery operated. Then we could do that, and that would be the end of our ceremony. So I really appreciate all that you have done today, all of you that have come out today. I'd like to do one more wish, and I know I shouldn't do it right now, but Bill's leaving us June 30th, and I just would like to give him a clap because he's retiring to enjoy the next part of his life. And we thank him for everything he has done.
Chief Williams is retiring, and I thought maybe I'd follow suit. Do you want to say names, or just want to come and pick up the candles?
It's up to you.
Okay. If you'd like to say the name of the person that you're thinking of, or persons, please feel free to do that. But don't be shy. Come forward and take a candle and switch it on, and then place it probably on or near the bench.